Welcome to Adulting and Afraid. All right. So today I'm actually going to walk you through what the loan application process of a mortgage loan application is. It's pretty simple. And when it comes down to it, people are so scared. They are so scared to apply for a mortgage loan. And I'm just going to tell you, for the most part, I'm going to speak for all mortgage loan officers out there. They really just want to help you. They really do. If you ask every mortgage loan officer out there, they're going to say their favorite part of their job is when they get a clear to close or helping somebody get into a home or living the American dream and all that. Everybody in the mortgage industry just wants to see a loan close because at the end of the day, that's you moving into a new home. So don't be scared. That's my number one advice. Do not be scared. So with that being said, your application for a mortgage loan is pretty intense. There's a lot of information in there, but it's information that is not difficult to come by. I'm going to give you advice from my standpoint of this. So your mortgage loan application is going to be your basic information, your name, and how you want to take title. So if you are, let me think of a name. Let me use my name. My full name is Deborah Criddle. And if I went by Debbie, which I don't, ask my mother, I do not go by Debbie. Anyways, but if my name was Deborah Sue Criddle, but I went by Debbie Sue, and that was kind of what everybody called me, I would not take application as Debbie Sue. My given name was Deborah, so I'm going to spell my full given name. Now, your middle initial is your choice if you want to use your middle initial or not. I always advise people to use their middle initials because there are a lot of duplicated names. If your name is John Smith, Bruce Smith, Robert Smith, Robert Jones, any of those very, very, very common last names, absolutely use your middle initial. And I would advise you to maybe even use your whole middle name to take title, just to protect that you are who you are and keep that all together. So your name, your date of birth, hopefully you know what that is. If not, ask your mom or dad or hopefully your spouse. Your social security number, which we know is not in our wallet because we've learned that from previous podcasts that you do not put that social security number in your wallet. And hopefully by now you've memorized that special number. If not, find it. And that's going to be the information you need. Your location of where you reside. So your home address. And this is kind of difficult for some people who have bounced around. I would just say, fill it in to the best of your knowledge based off of where you've lived over the last 2 years. If you really haven't had a home address and it's like I've been living on my buddy's couch, I would say maybe list your parents' address as your permanent address where your mail is going. And it's critical to have that address accurate to what you're doing. Also knowing what your rent payment is. Hopefully you're paying rent. Even if you're living with your mom and dad and you're living in their basement and you're paying them $50 a month or $200 a month, whatever you've chosen to do because you listened to me on my first podcast and said, oh yeah, I'm going to pay rent because I'm a good person. I'm not, living rent free in my mother's basement. Anyways, and then it's going to jump into your, employment history. Employment history is also the same thing. You have to have a 2-year employment history of some sort. Now, what's interesting about an employment history is if you have had higher education, let's use a school teacher for example. If you've been going to college for the last 4 years and you really haven't had a job, but now you've graduated and this fall you're going to start a new job and you've got that contract, your college history acts as your employment history. So put that on your application as your employment history. And if you've just been flipping burgers or working at the local Walmart or something like that during your time in school, list that also as employment because we just want to have as detailed as information as we possibly can on employment. And then on your employment pieces, if you're self-employed, it's very critical to plan on getting your income taxes uploaded as soon as possible because it's just calculated different. And then you're going to go through your assets and your liabilities section. And that's going to be, I wouldn't say necessarily critical to be perfect on your assets, which is going to be like your bank accounts, 401ks, any of those type of things. Put the average balance that's in there. Don't feel like you have to find your bank accounts and put every penny that you have in there. Just put your average of what you have for your bank account. Also, don't list vehicles and camp trailers and snow machines. You don't need to list those as assets. And for the liability section, my advice is don't list anything. except for child support, because if you have a child support obligation, we do need to know about that. But the liability section is going to come in on your credit report that you have established so beautifully because you've listened to moi. Yes, I know. You're patting yourself on the back because you listened to everything I told you to do. And then you're going to jump into whether or not you have any ownership of property anywhere. If there's any land you own, real property, like actually property that the county acknowledges. And if you've got any of that, you're going to dump that into the loan application. And then there's a list of questions that we're going to ask. Have you been in default on any federal debt that you haven't taken care of? Have you filed bankruptcy? Do you have any judgments against you? Are you a U.S. citizen? Is this going to be your primary residence? And be able to answer those questions honestly, because what's crazy is we have the ability to find out a lot of stuff. Like, all joking aside, Big Brother is out there. He has reports and he knows exactly where you've lived, where you've worked, what you've done, and all of that. So just be honest on all of those forms. Now, if you're off or you've misunderstood something, you're not going to go to jail. It's just going to be do the best that you can, and we'll just make sure we tighten everything up as we go. The application is definitely where you've got to start. You've got your budget figured out. You know how much you're hoping that you can get qualified to buy. But at the end of the day, it comes down to getting your application in so that we can get you pre-qualified. So don't be scared of home ownership. Don't be scared of applying for a loan. The greatest thing about the mortgage industry is we all care. We absolutely all care. And if you're just not quite ready to buy a house, that's okay. That's okay. If you're ready in your mind, but maybe not quite ready in the mortgage loan side of things, then your loan officer is going to advise you on what you need to do and guide you in the direction that you need to go. So don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. Jump in with 2 feet. You've got this. So being a homeowner is a huge blessing. Getting investments into real estate is huge. My next week podcast, I'm going to talk to you about the importance of getting into a home as quickly as you can, as fast as you are ready, because I have this really awesome idea that I have just, I guess I tell people all the time, hoping that they'll listen. So tune in next week about what our plan is going to be when you're just freshly in the adult world and you're ready to buy a house and you've made those steps to get ready for that. I'm going to teach you how to make real estate actually set you up for a really good spot when you are kind of retiring. You know, maybe if we're smart, we'll be retired by 50 or 55. So anyways, don't be scared of the mortgage loan process. We are here. We're ready to go to help with any of those needs. Any mortgage loan officer that you talk to is ready to help you. So let's go out and be adults and not be afraid.